First off, I'm going to hide this person's @ because I've seen about 700 comments saying the same thing, so obviously you want some clout from me. I know what microaggressions are. I think they're stupid. I will, however, support real world problems like, I don't know, maybe the wars that are going on, the people that are dying, the children that are being sold into.
Shit, why go micro when you can go full-blown macroaggression? In case you haven't seen it, and maybe you're one of the lucky ones who hasn't, this woman uploaded a video doing a diss track where she essentially describes committing a crime against a black woman, and in vivid and violent detail describes doing to this woman what has historically been done to black people in this country. And I'm not gonna play it because it's not worthy of any more air. It's really disgusting. And now, of course, she is saying that we have misconstrued what she said. Because she never said the word, she just, described it. And I'm just here to tell you that saying the word and describing the act is the same thing. It would be like me saying, like, I didn't say I was going roller skating. I said that I was going to be lacing up these very special and specific types of shoes that have wheels on them and then propel myself down the street with them. It's the same thing. And I've talked about this so many times. I've talked about what happens when somebody goes viral, for one specific thing, and that thing antagonizes an entire group of people. Especially when that person has nothing else that is interesting about them. They have to keep working on that premise. And in this case, antagonizing black women was her thing. That became her niche. So she has to continue to do it and make it worse and bigger and grander and more egregious in order for people to pay attention to her. And in this case, again, it's working. We're paying attention to her, but I don't know where she can go from here, because I think she herself knows that she's gone too far. But I don't know. I mean, what can she possibly do now?
I could literally get down on my knees and beg for forgiveness.
I mean, I don't think that'll work, but yeah, shit, at this point, it's worth a try.
So I scrapped this verse off my diss track, but I still wanted to rap for y'all. Steady blocking me, but rocking me is your PFP, you jocking me. You need to be worried about your teeth touching, fucking social distancing. Let me hear that mouth breathe. She said, I see you when I see you. Bitch, am I John Cena? You been seeing me and fleeing me, but can you see your teeth? Can you read? I know you can breathe. D1 scuba diver. Bet your bite marks look like a sewing machine. This time I'm coming for your motherfucking throat. Crystal meth head is on her deathbed, and like I said, I'll paint the town red. I'll hang you by your knees in a tree. I'll hang you by your knees in a tree. Kinda mean while you keep the big set free.
These are the type of white women that y'all advocate for and defend. Yikes. It's appreciation, not appropriation. Culture should be shared. Y'all bullied her. It's just hair. The type of white women who, in the midst of defending themselves against the blatant disrespect that they antagonized black women with in the first place, can't help but be bigots. And the sad thing is, the bigotry that they showed y'all at first, y'all chose to ignore that shit. Yeah, you did. They're the type of women who procreate with black men and have no idea of the harm that they're causing the same community that their children are a part of. To include a bar in that whack-ass diss track that was directed to my good sis Crystal Crave that insinuated or implied lynching a black woman is deplorable at the fucking least. Now, I know that some of y'all ain't got good comprehension skills, so I can already see that I'm gonna get some of the, it's just lyrics. She didn't really mean she was gonna lynch her. That's not what she meant. It's not that serious. Well, that's the motherfucking problem, bitch. It's these type of white women who choose to ignore the everyday wording, phrases, and or innuendos that have racist connotations, hence evoking racism itself. But in this case, honestly, it's not even a connotation. It's blatant fucking racism, bro. And most of these type of white women lack common sense, creativity, original thought, or in Miss Starla's case, talent. And showing all of their biases that are rooted directly straight in white supremacy. Go figure. Now, I'd be wrong if I alluded to the fact that the black man who pulls her puppet strings is just as disgusting as her. Oop. I don't think I'm alluding. I think I'm saying that shit, because it's true. When those type of black men become the backbone for those type of white women, it's extremely detrimental to black women.
I know what microaggressions are. I think they're stupid. I will, however, support real world problems like, I don't know, maybe the wars that are going on, the people that are dying, the children that are being sold into.
Because, racism is not a real world problem. Like, at the fuck all. These type of white women are a subcategory of white women, just like Karens, are a reason why black women should not, can't, and don't trust white women. They are part of the reason why black women are villainized in circumstances where they are outspoken, where their natural hair or culturally significant hairstyles are deemed as masculine or unprofessional in their natural state. You know, there's so many other things I can add, but those are just a few. Those type of white women and the white men who raised them have polluted our society into ripping black women of their human fucking dignity. Yeah. Black women have to live through immense amounts of racism daily. And historically, it's only been perpetuated by people who dislike black people, those who feel that they are superior to black people. But now black women have to deal with it from the same subset of white women who want to be them so fucking bad, but never can. Now, don't get me wrong, two women of any race beefing is not the problem. It's bound to happen. It's the blatant racism, tokenization, and disrespect that comes at the expense of black women that is the problem.
So I just posted a video of me rapping a scrapped verse from my diss track on my backup account, which was immediately taken down, of course. But I have it posted on my YouTube account if you want to check it out, because I think it's fucking funny.
You would think it's funny. Because most people who don't understand fucking definitions or utilize the very few critical thinking skills that they have would never fully understand how harmful your behavior fucking is. And to have certain black men at the forefront of your fucking ignorance, bro, it's giving that neither one of you have even a half a brain cell amongst the two. Like, I really wanted to make this a more subtle video, you know, different from my other ones. You know, be a little bit more subtle. It could be also that I'm on vacation and I'm sitting outside of the hotel and I don't want to wake other motherfuckers up because y'all bitches. But I wanted to give the gist of things, you know, so that some of y'all would maybe go look up why her including that in that song was wrong. You know, I was kind of hopeful a little bit, just a tad. But really, I don't know why I was. Because if I thought my video or anybody else's would make a difference to some of y'all bigots, we wouldn't have to be making videos or calling out this type of behavior in the fucking first place.
Honey, this is America. I'm not stealing anything. I have bodily autonomy to do whatever I want with my hair on my head. How am I doing it then right now? How do I literally have my hair braided underneath here? How?
Because girl, what are those? Like literally, what is this? What is that? Y'all want to be black women so bad and you can't even cosplay right. Like, I don't know. I mean, do y'all not talk to each other at the clan meetings or the cosplay conventions? Because y'all legit just don't be giving a fuck what y'all look like. But I honestly don't expect much from people who can't be authentically themselves correctly.
Be right as black women, we knew we would get here because we are fully aware, right, throughout history that appropriation, like we stated, is never appreciation, right? And the sharing never comes with consent. And what the White Collective often does when they don't get consent to somebody else's stuff, culture, escalate to violence, as we are now seeing that violence display with this individual now levying a viable threat, historical threat actually, to hang a black person by a tree. I want people to hear me clearly, okay? This is a viable threat. It's a viable threat with the backing of hate crime, specifically in regards to hang a black person by a tree, knowing that the anti-laws just passed. And I am not surprised at the level of violence that this individual has escalated to. I'm not at all. And I'm sure a lot of black women are not either. As we were stating all along, appropriation is not appreciation, nor is it sharing, as you do not have consent. But what the White Collective often does is what we're seeing right now, is when you don't get consent and continue to antagonize, that antagonization often leads to violence, leads that white person to violence. People, historically so, which obviously this individual has reached to for her viable threat to a black woman on the internet, a historical threat of a black person by a tree in Texas, Houston, Texas, right? And I feel like when things like this happen, I feel like somebody needs to be alerted. I feel like it's a smart thing for you citizens to advise somebody that there's somebody on the internet giving a threat of a hate crime. There's somebody threatening hate crime on the internet. I feel like you should get ahead of that and advise somebody of that threat. The second one, by the way, because things like this only escalate. Okay, and we have seen a level of violence upon Black women and Black people in general in this country as of late, where I personally feel we don't have the option to wait. Because the individual making these threats is extremely dangerous. And because of the rate of escalation, I would say dangerous to public. Based on the rate of escalation, would say that she is a danger to public safety and those around her. All I have for all of you that were excusing her behavior, use this antagonization and behavior that we see so much. It's so heavy, right? What do you have to say now that you understand where that appropriation, lack of appreciation, lack of consent to share ends up? Which we told you is violence. As you yelled, it's just hair. Why are we hearing the same white woman that you came to that defense embolden this individual to escalate to this point on the internet, making a viable threat to hang a Black woman in a tree? If it's just hair, how did we get there? If it's just hair, how did it get there? Anyways, I have no more words to say. The violence that you guys excuse towards Black women is disgusting to me. I stay disgusted, actually. It's actually disgusting. Not listening to Black women when we tell you the signs early on. We tell you the signs early on before that escalation occurs. And throughout the world, it's like we're never fucking heard. Till that violence hits us like a brick, or we end up hanging in a tree.
People have argued that this shitstorm that she created was not about race. She was arguing that it was not about race. The same person who said that she knows exactly what microaggressions are and she thinks that they're fucking bullshit. The same person whose boyfriend is Black and whose baby is half Black. And you got upset after you posted that picture of him in the hospital because people were wishing harm and ill will against him because of your fucking actions. I'm not saying that shit is right, but you sitting on this fucking internet creating all these fucking issues with Black women and still trying to fucking be one, you are putting yourself, your son, and your boyfriend in danger for fucking clout. There are mothers out here having to teach their sons how they need to act around policemen, how they need to act around white people in hopes that they never end up in a situation where their lives could get potentially taken. This shit is not cute. It's not fucking funny. And I am fucking appalled that nobody has caught your fucking ass in the street yet. Now you're trying to act like you're pursuing some whack ass rap career, MC dipshit. And then you put in a song, the Black woman that you wanted to fight, that you would hang her by her knees in a tree and feed her ketamine? Hang her in a tree? Imagine how fucking boring and uninteresting you have to fucking be to do all of this whack, crazy ass fucking shit just for fucking views. This shit will catch up to you. 100%. It may not be right now, but it 100 fucking % will. And you will regret ever putting those fucking box braids in, making fun of Black women, and tokenizing your son and your boyfriend. Black people die in the streets every motherfucking day because of ignorant sacks of fucking shit like you. You're not just part of the problem. You are
Give people like this too much attention, but here goes nothing. Number one, if Black people are only 13% of the population, but 81% of the time when a white person is killed, they're killed by another white person, how in the hell can you conclude that Black people commit the most crimes in America? Number two, you keep on bringing up this homicide rate, racializing it about a Black thing. The red represents Black people. This comes from the National Registry of Exonerations. We see that not only homicide, but all crimes, Black people make up the majority of the exonerations. Let's keep on going. Number three, African Americans who are convicted of murder are about 50% more likely to be innocent than any other convicted murderers and spend a longer time, even if they're innocent. Number four, you say that Black people commit the most crimes in America, but white people are most likely to commit a mass shooting or domestic terrorism, and I guess you don't care about that, huh? Number five, y'all stop tagging me in this woman's shit. She's not gonna respond to me because she don't want nothing with me, man.
I want to call out casual racism. Casual racism is one of the many forms of racism. It is disguised in jokes and passing comments, and this contributes to a system of oppression. Examples of casual racism include playing on stereotypes to do with certain races. It also includes harmful generalizations of whole races in the form of jokes and comments. Casual racism also includes saying a word which has historically been used as a weapon against a group of people. For an example, the N-word. That is a form of casual racism if it is said without intention, and an active form of racism if you are saying it with intention. Most of the time, people don't understand that they are engaging in this type of behavior because they are not aware. But at the same time, it is so important to understand and take steps to awareness if you don't have it. How do you call it out? 1. Silence. Don't engage. 2. Question their behavior. Finally, be an active.
Are Black people more violent than white people? Let's talk about it. The amount of comments I receive on my anti-racism education videos from white people who say that Black people are violent and cause riots is astounding. But I want you to know that the irony of it all is not lost on me. So question for you. While your white parents and white teachers were teaching you the lie that Black people are inherently more violent and cause riots, did they also teach you about the thousands of racially motivated white race riots? Did they teach you about lynching picnics? Since y'all love to talk about riots and Chicago so much, let's talk about it. Have you heard of the Red Summer? Do yourself a favor and go and search the term Red Summer online. Then come back and tell me what you learned in the comments. Here's a quick history lesson for you too. According to archives.gov, during the collapse of Reconstruction, which started around 1877, the political and legal gains won by African Americans during Reconstruction were dismantled. In addition to suffering political and legal injustices, thousands of African Americans were hanged, burned to death, shot to death, tortured, mutilated, and castrated by white mobs who were almost never prosecuted for their crimes. One of the leaders in the fight against lynching was Ida B. Wells Barnett, author of The Red Record. Do you know when the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act was passed? 2022. So if violence, crime, and riots are the first thing that come to mind when someone mentions Black people, but you never associate violence with white people, you are a racist agent of white supremacy. And you have believed, accepted, supported, and perpetuated racist lies, negative anti-Black stereotypes, and white supremacist ideologies for your entire life. That's just one of the many ways that you continue to contribute to violence against Black people every single day. Will you continue to deny the facts and the truth and live a lie? Or will you admit that you've been lied to, taught racist, white supremacist ideologies, and make a decision today to invest in unlearning those dangerous beliefs and harmful beliefs and become an active part of the solution instead of a passive part of the problem? What will you choose today? Start unlearning the lies and learning the truth today in my 5-day challenge or in my Patreon community. Link in my bio.
Reason why Black people are seemingly becoming more sensitive nowadays is because a lot of y'all have become too comfortable in racism. Your problematic behavior has always been problematic. It's just that you've either never been caught out on it or didn't listen when you have. Don't blame the Black community because we have less tolerance for your bigotry than we used to.
And feel free to leave your opinion down. What you think about this video. Thank you for watching to the end and stay blessed. Bye bye.